I know that sometimes it's frustrating when you get a digital kit and there's pieces that you don't know what to do with, or you get stumped. You feel like you're having a writer's block where you don't know where to go next. So today we're going to tackle that, and I'm going to pull out some of these ephemera pieces from my kit, Jingle All the Way, and I'll have it linked somewhere here on a QR code as well as down below in the description box, and we are going to make them look vintage and worn and loved and beautiful. And then I'm going to show you how I would use them in a journal. I'm really excited about this, and we're kind of going by the seat of our pants because I haven't done this. It was just an idea that I had, but I think it's going to be wonderful. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find envelopes that are the same size, and I'm going to pull them off to the side. These are so cute. I love these little square envelopes. And then I'm going to show you also what to do if your envelope is not the same size. So let's take these two where this one is clearly bigger than the other, and I'm going to show you how we're going to make those work. So let's start off by distressing our envelopes. The first thing that I would say for you to grab is something that has a straight edge. I'm going to grab a ruler, and right here on those marks, those would be the fold lines. So we're going to take our ruler and go right on the outskirts of the score line. So I'm just going right there, and then I'm going to fold it in, but not all the way, just right here. And that gives me that fold line. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side using the line we've already created. And if I wanted to, I could take my bone folder and just roughen it up a little bit. And look, already that took something that is one-dimensional and very flat and created so much texture with it. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. And since on this, I went right underneath it, I'm going to do the same thing here. And when I'm distressing it with the bone folder, that's exactly what I'm doing it. I'm not just using it to fold it, but I'm actually wanting this to be tattered a little. Like that. I hope that's showing up on camera because that really already took it to the next level. I'm going to do the same thing here on both of these sides, but I think on this one, instead of folding it, I am going to try to just take my, and if you need your ruler, then do the exact same thing where you put it on the side, but I'm actually going to freehand it. And I'm just taking my bone folder. You could also take anything that is a rounded edge. I don't have a pencil here, but if you took, let's say, a pen cap that, let me think of what you could use. Oh, you could use the bottom of like a brush and it would do the same thing. And you can see I'm just, instead of here adding dimension, I'm taking away dimension. So it's going to have the divots on the inside instead of the outside. So now this looks like the piece is over it and it looks like it's 3D, whereas this looks like it's under it. We're going to do the same thing with the seal as well. Now our seal, we want it to look 3D. So in this case, I'm going to take something that's a little sharper, and maybe the point of my bone folder will work. We'll see. We might need to go in. Let's see. I think I'm going to do this one opposite. So what I'm going to do is hold this up to the light where you can see through it. And I'm going to trace around the perimeter. And that just gives me a loose shape. And just on the outside of this, now I'm going to score it for the other side. And I want to do small strokes. And I think I want to push more. So the easiest way to do this is to have something that is soft underneath, like a old mouse pad would work. Any kind of foam would work, or even a fabric. And I think that's what I have sitting on my desk. So that's what we'll use. And I'm going to do the same thing. But now that gives me kind of that bounce underneath, and it allows the fold to go more through the paper. Whereas when you have it on a hard surface, it's only going to allow the paper to fold a certain amount because it doesn't have any give. You can already see from this side. And then now you can see it on this side. And so now you've given this more of a look of dimensionality. I don't know. I'm going to do the same thing with these lines because I like the way that that looked. So, oh, that's much better. You can see the difference between those two just by adding something soft underneath. Okay. And since these are going in or concave, I'm going to just take this and just scratch into it just a little. Same here, but this I'm going to take like this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some holes. The best way to do this is with an awl. I also think it would be fun to add a a stick or staples. But what I'm going to do here is if you poke your hole in this way, you can see that there's more actually dimension on the back side. So I want to flip it so that those pieces protrude through that side. And then we'll flatten them out with our bone folder. And let's add, here I'm going to go in a little deeper so I have a bigger hole. And then once I have them on the right side, I'm going to flatten them out a little bit. I'm slightly ripping the paper with my awl. So I'm going to go into the hole right there, and then I'm going to pull out. There we go. And then this one kind of already has that done because the hole was bigger. So I'm just going to go in the center and then pull out. And don't be precious with this part, because the more organic you have it, the more organic it will feel and more realistic. I'm going to take my stapler and add maybe some staples. Let's do them right here. Now we're going to take our sanding block and just go around the edges. And then I'm going to add some more crumpling. So I'm going to take like my edges and I'm just going to smush them down with my fingers. And if your fingers hurt while doing this, then definitely use a tool. I'm also going to take that tool and just go around the perimeter. Same thing. And then our last step would be to add some extra distressing. The other thing you could use is you could grab out a sponge, like a makeup sponge. So I'm going to decide what side I want to distress on, and I think I'm going to go from the underside to give it a shadow, since it's 3D and this would be going over this part, the shadow would be underneath. So I'm going to take my distress stain actually, and I'm going to start by pulling it this way and then just blurring out my lines. So the same here. And I think to get it realistic, you don't want it to go all the way across. That's so good already. And now I'm just going to take and do a little bit on the edges. Again, I don't want it to be uniform, so I'm not going to go and do the whole thing distressed. And let's see the original or something close to the original. And you can see the difference that that already made. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and distress the other one, and then we'll build them up, and I'll show you what I would do with these. And we're going to take them in steps like I've done in other videos, where this is, well, you could distress it less than this, and that would be the first step. This would be maybe like the second step, where you take it a little more distressed. And then you can keep distressing this. You can add paint splatters. I think that would look really cool. You could add some writing on it. That would be really cool. So really the sky's the limit. This is just to kind of get your creative juices flowing, to get you in that state of the possibilities and get your wheels turning, so that then you can think of different ways that you would use it. And if you already have some ideas of ways that you would distress it, leave it down in the comments below so that we can all learn. Okay, I have my envelopes here, and as you could see, I cut, I think it was this one down, and they all match. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have some fun and get some papers, and we're going to kind of spruce them up. So I'm just going to go through my stack of pattern papers, and I think I knew I wanted to use this one. This is printed on 110-pound cardstock, but you don't have to use something as heavy. You can go with something lighter. I believe, yeah, these are printed on 110-pound cardstock as well. So since we have lines here, I'm going to probably use them. I'm trying to think what the best... Yeah, I think we'll go this way. So For tutorial purposes, we'll go ahead. Actually, I will not look at the pattern and we'll be surprised together. I'm going to measure 3/4 of an inch. And then 1, 2, 3/4 of an inch again. Wait, is that right? 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do it one more time, possibly. That was wrong. So that's 1, 2, 3. Huh. Okay, what am I doing wrong here? So this is 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch. That's correct. That's 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch is here. Okay. That's 1, 3/4 of an inch is here. Okay. And if you're going to measure it out like I did, then I would suggest that you do measurements on both sides of your paper just so you can line them up. And that way these marks will get lined up. But if you're using a paper cutter, then just use the measurement tool. Now, this part is completely up to you. You can have, these are going to be gussets and they can be whatever width you want. I went with 3/4 of an inch, just eyeballing it. I'm not sure if that's the best measurement, but I thought it looked good. I'm going to start by cutting 2 out and then I'll see if we need a third one. These gussets are then going to be folded in half because they're going to hold the papers up. So you're going to fold them inward so that the pattern is on the inside. And again, if you have a scoring tool, you can totally do this by scoring. In the middle, I'm just going to fold it over. I think there's something that is very sweet when we stop and like kind of get our hands dirty and use our hands in the process as opposed to using all the tools all the time. I definitely think there's times where the tools really matter. So I'm just going to eyeball this. 2. So I definitely need 2 strips. I think that might be it. And we're making these hinges kind of on the smaller side because we don't need these to hold a ton of stuff. But other than them just holding stuff, I think that they look so sweet with the gussets. Again, it goes with my fascination of all things school supplies and office supplies. Okay. So now we're going to line up our envelopes and you want to make sure that you line them going the correct way. So these are both going upward. I'm going to take that one and I'm just going to put it right on top and I'm going to use my glue gun just because I have it here and it's easier and it's faster for the video. Feel free to use whatever glue you have on hand. And I'm going to try to keep it down. If you have to, just double check. And I'm going to put the gusset down so that the pattern paper is facing your left-hand side. And then I'm going to match these up. I want to get as close to the edge as possible. And then clip that. I'm going to do the same thing, except this time, instead of my gusset going to the left, it's going to flip over to the right. And then lastly, we're going to do our bottom edge. So here I have a couple of notes. If you know that you're not going to put little tiny papers in here, then you could use the excess. Let's say you have an excess and you can use that as long as you don't have anything that's going to fit through here. We're going to go on the assumption that we are going to have something that goes through there. So I'm going to measure this very precisely. And I apologize if you hear anything in the background. Shaq's in here with me today. I usually don't have him. He's more obsessed with my husband. And I'm going to run this along the edge. And again, I want to make sure that my gusset is facing outward. And I think that the easiest way to line this up is to actually lift it up, line the top, and then line the bottom, then press it in. And this got a little wonky, but if I need to, I'll cut it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add glue to our sides. These come together so quickly, but they are so charming. And they're just fun. A little gusset is always just so fun to me. Oops, I went off. I was actually just thinking that I should have measured it better. Okay, so I'm going to do the exact same thing. And I have a feeling that somewhere over here is where I actually have measured something a little incorrectly, but I'm just going to cut that little piece right off. And now we should have a gusset pocket. And so you can see you can fit a few things in here if you wanted to, and it gives it a little bit of dimension. You can still glue this down to your page. For example, I could glue it straight down like this, and you see how it gives it that dimension, but it's not super bulky. And then you could put ephemera in here. You know, a great use for this would be in the front so that you have a little pocket here. And if you're working on a journal, this is a great place to put a pocket, because here is where you could put extra die cuts, letters. You can put your information in here. If you made it, you can put all your information. If you are selling your album or giving it to a friend, you can put a little note in here for them. And so I love to have pockets in my journals. I've done this with a composition notebook, and I think my gusset went this way so that I could stick stuff in from the side, but I absolutely love these. So I'm just going to work on the other two together, and you could also alternate this a little so that you have a bigger gusset. Let's actually use some of this really pretty paper. And this time, instead of doing our, what did I write? These are my notes that I never looked at. Okay. Instead of doing a 1/4 inch, let's actually do it bigger. And let's see. Let's do I'm going to go on this side because this paper has pattern on it and it's easier for me to see the back, the white side. So I'm actually going to score at 1/2 inch. Hang on. So I want to have 4 lines. I want to, let's pretend that this is even. So I want this to be the inside. So I'm going to go in, and actually I'm going to switch it. I was originally going to do these small ones, but instead I'm going to do the bigger ones so that I have a little bit more space. If I do that with the small one, as you can see here, I'm going to take up more room on each side, so then I'm only going to have a small space in between to fill it up. And so instead I'm going to do it for the bigger ones. And so where was my thing? So this is essentially what I want, a little fold. And so this is what I believe is called an M fold. As you can see here, it goes up, down, up, down. So that means I have my raw edge, which is here. I have one score line, another score line, another score line, and then I'm going to go ahead and score that one as well because I want that to be the edge where I'm going to cut. But I'm going to do it on the other side. So I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and do 3. Let's do 1/2 inch. Okay, so I have my first score at 1/2 inch, my second score at 1 inch, then 1.5, and then my last one I think is at 3. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to cut here. And if you need to make yourself a note, what I like to do is I like to just do like a little X here. No one's going to see this. And that way I know that that's my cut line. So I'm going to go ahead and do the 2 of them now since I have this. So again, it's at 2.5 inches. So this is the second piece. 3 inches. 3.5 and 4 inches. And so as you could tell, it's 2 inches wide with scores at every 1/2 inch. So now I can either just fold this and cut it, which is what I'm going to do, or you can take your cutter or your ruler and cut it down. Because your edge is going to be hidden, it doesn't really matter whether you have a frayed edge or not. How was your Thanksgiving? Did you have a nice time? Was it overwhelming? Was it too much? Not enough? For my folds, my first fold is going to come in towards me. Fold it down. And then I'm going to do the fan fold. So I'm going to go, for the second one, go away from me. And then I'm going to do the next one towards me. And again, I'm going to show you. Oops. I went a little too zealous there. Here we have our fold, our M fold. And so this is what you're going to see from the side. Isn't that so cute? And if you wanted to, you could concave it and so that it's the opposite way. But I think this is the cutest way. And then we're going to do the same with the other piece. I love these roses. Thank you to all of you that have bought my kits. I cannot wait to see what you guys are creating. Please feel free to tag me over on Instagram if you post, or even on TikTok. Did I do this backwards? I did it backwards. So now I just need to fix it. Okay, there we go. Easy fix. So now we're going to do the same thing that we did before, except this time I think I'm going to add my adhesive to these just instead of the envelope. And if you wanted to, you could also pre-cut these. You could use the measurement on the one side for the other. And you know what I think would be really adorable? If you used a different pattern on the bottom. So we have our 2, and then our 3rd is going to be a different measurement. So let's see what we have. Actually, let's go ahead and glue these down. And remember that the pattern paper is going to be facing the outside. And you can see my measurements were not perfect, and it's still gonna look absolutely adorable. Look how cute that is. So excited. And on here, I'm just kind of guesstimating where it's going to land. That looks good to me. It doesn't need to be exactly butting up to each side. There could be a little bit of space in between, especially if you're not putting anything in here. Oops, did you see that? I almost messed it up. Especially if you're not putting like glitter or anything that can go through small spaces. Okay. I like this method too because I'm able to burnish down that bottom piece. That looks so cute already. Sorry if I just yelled in your ears. I got carried away with paper. Okay, I want to make sure this is the right side up because I moved it, of course. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold these down. I apologize if I go off camera for just a minute while I line these up. Okay. And ta-da! Look how cute. So you can see there's a little gap here. And I'm totally okay with that. And I'm not going to put anything in there that's going to fall through. But look at how adorable this is. So here's the comparison. of the different gussets, and I'm going to show you how it looks. Let's do it on a pattern paper. Look at how adorable that is. It's almost like a little pop-up. And when you have your, if you don't have anything in it and you have your journal closed, it's going to flatten out some, but then you have that little surprise. Now, another thing that you could do now that we have this like this, we can go back in and add just a little bit of distressing. We could also add some ink to the bottom. And then we can do one other thing. We could cut our corners. So instead of using a corner rounder, I'm just going to eyeball this. Look at how adorable that is. So either way, if you want your square corners or if you want your rounded corners, and I think I'll just round the bottom ones. That's so cute. It's like a little bag in here. And then we can go ahead and do our last ones and do our little square envelopes that I love with these crowns on them. And maybe this paper would be really pretty. Ooh, that one would be very pretty. Ooh, nope. Let's go with this one. I love this paper. It's, if you watched my last video, I said it's one of my absolute favorite papers ever, ever, ever. Just gonna smush everything. My space keeps getting smaller. And for this one, we're gonna make it a little bit smaller. So we're gonna do, we did 1/2 inch before, so I'm gonna do 1/4 inch. Oh, that might be too small. I think that might be too small. Let me think. I think we're going to go with the thicker one. We'll see if I regret this in a second. So we're going to do the exact same measurements. And also on here, you can choose to do your paper this way instead of horizontally, and you might be able to get away with just one cut. I'm doing it this way. Actually, there's not necessarily a set reason why. I just tend to work horizontally. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when working with even numbers, it is a lot easier because you know that you start at 1, you end at 4, or you end at 2 for each one. So I know when I get to the end, if it's at 4, we're good. Sometimes I can get wobbly on this thing. I get overly zealous thinking about what I'm going to do. Does anyone else love these lines? I just, is that weird? I love them. I love seeing the score lines. Oh, I can't wait to see this paper. It's going to be so pretty. And then I didn't mark this one, but I know it's at the 4th line. So 1, 2, 3, 4. think the first one was towards me, and then away, and then towards me. Always start with yourself. Okay, so the same here towards me. Oops. Oops, why is that line kind of crooked? Okay, towards me. Away from me. And towards me. The other thing you could do, let's actually do this one a little different. We're going to do the bottom so that the bottom has a solid piece, and then we're going to cut the sides. Actually, let's just cut it. There we go. So let's go ahead and put down our bottom piece. Has anyone told you today that you're wonderful? That you are beautiful? You were made in the image of our Creator, and you are loved dearly, always, no matter what. I think I might like lining the bottom first. Maybe it might be a little easier. And I'm just going to put the glue, this one, down on the paper. Remember to put the pattern paper facing outward. Yeah, I think I like this way maybe a little bit better. You know what else would be really cute is to add a little notch here. Now, as you can see here, I got a little bit of the paper on the edge, so I could clean that up or I could leave it. And I left my scissors downstairs, so I'm using those big honkin' Tim Holtz scissors. Do I have enough space? Almost, but not quite. Do you guys see where that went? Where's the other piece? I should have air tags. Oh, it's right here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put the glue down on the edge. We're going to make sure that our paper is facing, oh, actually we don't have to worry too much because we know that the bottom is there. And I think I didn't go all the way to the edge. I find that with these kind of glue runner guns, it's better to have the glue kind of almost off the edge and then just fold it in. So I'm going to line the bottom up and press it down and then hope for the best on the sides, which I went in crooked. That's okay. We're gonna fix it up. No one will ever know. So I'm just going to cut a little bit off the edge. I guess that's where these big scissors come in handy. This one is a little crooked as well. Ooh, this one's a little harder to get. There we go. And, uh-oh. What did I do here? Oh no, don't do that. I cut right through the center. I cut right through the center. So let's fix this. Okay. I'm going to fix this. We're going to fix this. We're going to be paper doctors today. We're going to mend this right up. I'm just going to grab a piece of tape. And that's real life. Sometimes that happens. So I'm going to put it as close together as I can. And I'm going to, oh, I cannot believe that was the right measurement of tape. And now we want to flip it because this is on the outside, right? So we just want to fold it inward. And now it's super cute. And so now you have the little space, but it's on the side. So it's less likely, like if you had something like this in there, a small piece, it could still go through possibly if it goes perfectly, but it shouldn't. Whereas if you had it like this, I thought for sure it was going to go through, but you know. No, let's try again. There you go. It could go through, but you could see it's very unlikely. So I think all of these are really great ways to do it, whether you want to do a single gusset, if you want to do a double or M gusset, if you want to start on the sides, or if you want to start on the bottom. And I can't wait to hear your ideas for using these little envelopes. Let me know down in the comments below how you would attach one of these to your next journal. And tell me what you think I should do. Should I take one of these and put it, I can also put it in the back, or I could put it inside the pages. I could also put it to the side. I don't think I like that one as much. I don't know if I was off screen, but if I was, put it to the side, or I could put it like this. And then which one I should use in this journal. Which one's your favorite? And then on top of that, we could decorate these into a cluster. And actually, let's go ahead and do that. You thought you were going to be dismissed early today. You should know better. Say, that's on you. You should definitely know better. That. I like that. I like that, and I like that. Maybe that. And then for our focal point, let's see, maybe these ladies. Oh, something like this would be cute too. I'll pull a couple out and then we'll see. Ooh, what about a bow? Oh, what about one of the toys? That would be really cute too. Okay, let's play with our. Oh, and I definitely know that I want a label. And then depending on what we go with, at the end, then that will be our like little title or our sentiment. Okay, so I like the idea. So I was thinking something like with the ticket, like kind of playing on holiday travel. He's so cute. Okay, I think this one's out. I think I like this, but I kind of love him. But he covers up the tickets a little bit. What do you guys think? Okay, I have an idea. What if... Well, I don't know if this will be that helpful, but... Oh, I forgot I have all these over here. Instead of deciding on one, I'll just add more. Oh, I like that. I was actually thinking about a wreath, so let's just pull that one out. But I think I kind of like this. But I was thinking that I could do a wreath instead of him, and then this could be peeking out. No. Save that one for another day. I think that the bell beat out the circle. I think that's just so cute. So normally I would say to cut down your... Actually, what if we took that out? So normally I would say to cut this down like we talked about in the last video, where instead of using the whole thing, if you're not going to be able to see it, to cut it down so you can use one part for this project, another part for the other project. But I think in this case, the amount that I'm going to cut off is going to be minimal because I'm going to be able to see it from the bottom. So like if he's like this, I'm going to see it down here as well as up here. And I think I want it to be a little askew. I think I like that behind, but I think that I want, so let's see how good my fussy cutting skills are with these big scissors. I sometimes can cut better with a bigger scissor than I can with a smaller scissor. Am I in the same boat with anyone? Does that mean anything? Do you know? Is that odd? I mean, I'm thinking it kind of is. It sounds odd, but... Who ate too much food yesterday? And then what was your favorite food that you ate? I grew up in a house that didn't do big Thanksgivings. And so for me, some of the Thanksgiving things are, I don't want to say odd, but I had to learn them. I had to learn different traditions. But I think my favorite thing that we made, I think, was a cream corn. I was excited about that. We had leftovers tonight. I was just thinking, you know, it would be really cute. Sorry, I just made all that noise, but some twine. This hour change is really crazy because it's 10 o'clock or almost 10 o'clock right now. at night, which, you know, is semi-late, but somebody just drove by, if you could hear the car, and I was thinking, who's out there? Because it feels like midnight. I am not used to the time change. Okay. It does not want to shrink up for me. I think I'm going to have to make my hole bigger, maybe. Let's see. Ooh, I got it. I'm going to make that loop and then loop these in. Eek. So cute. Is that adorable or what? And I think I'm just going to glue that down. So I want that to set into place. I just have a little bit of glue, and then I'll go in and glue everything else into place. And I kind of like the idea of this maybe kind of going off the edge, and I think I like one of these. Let's see. Merry and Bright. Let's look at a red one. Oh, I like that one. Wrapped in Love. Is that one cuter? That might be cute, like that. What if we did two? I think that's adorable. And then I had one other idea as I was layering, is I was thinking that the tag could be layered on, I could use, no, not that, some of my wax pieces. I don't think those are going to go. Oh, but if I did something like this, let's see if any of these words stick out. Oh, I forgot. Change of clothes. I think I like, oh, I forgot. So we're gonna fold this right here so we know kind of where. And then I definitely want that sentence in there because I don't want the bottom just to be blank. But I think I'm gonna cut this down a little bit. This might be a little too bulky. So what I could do, what if I do this? Yeah, let's do that. And I'm going to cut really close to the bottom edge, because if not, I think that it gets a little too bulky. And I'm going to do the same here. I'm just going to distress the edge slightly. I do want this folded. And then where is, here we go, just with whatever excess is on my brush. That way it doesn't look so proper and looks just a little more raw. Okay. So I think because this one has a smaller word, or like the words are smaller, I'm going to overlap the green on top of it. And I also want it to be askew. Now with this one, because it's at the top, I think what I'm going to do is grab my stapler and I'm going to staple it on the edge. Actually, it might be cute if we did both. Let's do both. That's so adorable. Let's fold that over a little. I'm always a sucker for a good dog ear. And then this one, I definitely want to add more glue on because it does have wax and, you know, it's a slippery surface. But I did say I wanted it to come off of the edge. And then I know that I want this and this glued. That is so adorable. And then if you didn't want to attach your envelope, then you could also add something on the other side. But I think we're going to leave it like this. Isn't that so cute? He's so adorable. Look at those little cheeks. Anyways, I hope that you had a wonderful day, a wonderful week, that it is filled with love and with lots of laughter. And if it's not, and if it hasn't been, then I hope that you can find some solace here in this little corner that I hope you can call home. And as I've said before, if you need any prayer requests, or if you just want to vent about anything, feel free to message me directly on Instagram, or if you want us all to be praying for you, leave it down in the comments below. But I hope that you have a blessed weekend coming up, and that you just are blessed that you are in his favor completely. And don't forget, I love you. Talk to you later. Bye.